Welcome to Silicon Zombies, where we bring you the best brains from the Bay to Beyond. We've got Devinder here, and we're up in San Francisco at the HeathTech Summit. That's right. So, Devinder, thanks for coming on the show. Great to see you.
Yep.
So, I feel like there's a million different directions we could go, but given your expertise, maybe let's just start off with fears around artificial intelligence. Is it warranted? Should we be thinking as a platform to lift us up? Maybe a little bit of both. Help us understand.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's address the fear component first, right? There's so many people, especially in the software space, where I consult, I build, I educate. Folks are trying to figure out, like, am I going to be out of a job in 6 months? And I think the answer is probably not. That's the short version. And the reason I feel that way and the reason I teach the things that I do is because there's two things we need to do. We need to upskill a lot of folks. It's always been the case in software engineering, right? No one
Throughout human history.
Yeah, no one's been punching cards anymore. No one's still sitting on like a mainframe. Well, almost no one.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're upskilling. We had the web, we had the cloud. Now we're in AI. And how do we adjust our learnings? Like, how do we learn the new tools? How do we get around taking this huge influx of information? Because we're going to prune a lot of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's going to have a million technologies today, 100 later, and then 10 that are really, really good. How do we navigate this space as that happens? That's sort of like so far what I do.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
How is this different from, say, like when the internet came out, or like when certain folks didn't want to use email? Like, obviously, they're going to get left in the dust, but it almost feels like the rate of technological innovation is on a parabolic curve that's faster than any time throughout human history.
Yeah, and there's a very good reason it feels that way, right? It's because 3.5 billion people have devices that they can use on that. That never happened when the emails first came out. When people were first signing on to their first email, like AOL or whatever, you had very few people getting exposed to something. Now you get exposed to nearly the whole world to a new technology at the same time. Just like as you see like new products launching up in the air, they're getting faster and faster to hit 1 million users. Why is that? Because everyone has access. And that's why AI is sort of built on the shoulder of these giants, and it's got access to nearly everything.
It's fascinating that you say that, because it's like, if we look at the iPhone, I want to say that took 4 years to get to 100 million users.
Yeah.
ChatGPT did it in like less than a year.
Yeah.
Granted, slightly different. It's easier to sign up for a piece of software than it is to go buy a $1,000 device.
Yeah.
But the point is, that things seem to be escalating quickly.
Yeah, and it's also not $1,000, right?
Yeah.
It's free.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The hub to get into the product itself is like a lot.
Sure, you can pay $200 for a pro membership if you're a specialist.
Are you using this the pro?
I'm using so many of these tools. I have like a monthly budget per app.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, certainly the pro tool.
And how are you finding like Anthropic or some of these other models that seem to be? In fact, I think Anthropic just raised another $8 billion, if I'm not mistaken. How are those comparing to the early winners in the space, like OpenAI?
I think Anthropic is up there. If you do coding, if you're into like these Cursor/Windsurf type of technologies for your new IDEs, that cloud is really performing well. If you do like general queries and maybe like some structured things around like setting up programs, OpenAI does a fantastic job. A lot of people nowadays are also using Llama, right? I can run a Llama 70 billion model font size on my laptop now.
Wow.
That's crazy. And it can do almost most of the things that at least ChatGPT 3.5 was able to do.
Yeah.
So it's just going to keep going. I think Anthropic has got a great grasp. I think OpenAI has a great grasp. And the fact that they're kind of competing in some spaces is actually nice for us, because we're going to see those prices drop, and we're going to see a bunch of these great things happen for the consumer.
The consumer wins, which is kind of like the whole point of innovation.
Yeah.
Right? Let me throw you a curveball. We've got business practices like Apple that needs to be kind of like really pretty much polished and perfect before it goes out. And then you've got models like Meta that are going to release a little bit earlier, but maybe it's not going to be perfect, but they're going to learn from the users and bake that into the next iteration. So I'd love your commentary on that. And also, what do you think of the open versus closed models generally?
I think there's a lot to that question, but polish is great, especially in an experience. If there's something that's going to make a computer consumer leave an alcohol product, it might be a lack of polish because they've built that brand on it. And Facebook has always been the same type of brand. They're like, break fast, right? Like move quickly, break fast. Sure. These two companies have very different philosophies on how they operate, and they've almost built these user expectations that that's what you're going to go at.
They know what to expect.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think that it makes sense that these two companies are doing the things that the way they're doing. In fact, I almost wish there was more polish to the Apple, what is it, the 18.1 sort of like Apple Intelligence release, because it still has some things to work out. It's a really difficult problem. Nothing on Apple because, just evaluating all that stuff is really, really hard. But that's my expectation from Apple because I expect polished products.
Right. That's a good point. And what about this dynamic from the closed models versus the open? I mean, it almost seems like Zuckerberg just with the scorched earth policy, like, oh yeah, well we're going to make it all free. Right? How's that dynamic going to play out for the consumer?
I think for researchers, it's fantastic. I think for people who are not using it for business, it's great because it's open but not quite open. Once you move to truly open software means anyone can use it for anything as long as they kind of credit you. There's different licenses that provide you different layers.
And these all live on like Hugging Space or Hugging Face?
You mean the models?
Yeah. Isn't this kind of like the ecosystem where you can get access to like models and data?
Open models? Yeah. No, I totally get where you're coming from. So like, there's a lot of, to put it in succinctly, the open source version of models, I'm super excited about because they're like you said, the other people moving and like the fear kind of on the fire.
And maybe accountability to some degree.
For sure. But we also have to be aware of what's truly open. Right? Yeah. There's the meta open, it's kind of open, but you have to learn about licensing to figure that out.
Okay.
Right? And then the OpenAI, obviously, OpenAI is closed. There's lots of value in that, but it's still something that leaves people wanting. How they manage the marketing around that and how they sell the product, it's kind of up to them. And they've been doing a great job so far.
Yeah, if I think of a parallel, like back to Apple, where they want to control the entire experience.
Yeah.
But that comes with benefits around like security, not just for data privacy, but how the customer is actually getting taken care of, like from start to finish.
Yeah, and we trust Apple to do that, right? Because OpenAI has been saying the same thing, that if you do the paid version, we're going to give you private data. I am kind of looking forward to both Anthropic and OpenAI and all these companies to put out more information in marketing how your data is protected. And obviously with Apple, that's sort of a win that they get out of the box because of the polish and like the things they've been attached. Apple Store still is kind of, in my opinion, superior to the Android Store because it feels safer to use.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
If you're Tim Cook, maybe you're shaking in your boots a little bit. There's a lot of expectations to see what's going to happen with Apple Intelligence, and it's really just not really wowing anybody.
I hear you, and I think Tim Cook of the world should really see it as an opportunity because they have market share. They have all the things that they need to do get right. People will even forgive them for an iteration or two. But if they don't get up to speed by like Apple 17, Apple 18, that's going to be problematic. It's going to give other people an opportunity to sort of get a bite out of their market.
Yeah. It's almost like when a tree falls in the forest and breaks down, it's going to feed the seedlings of new trees to keep us. He said death is the best invention because it makes way for the new.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't go that way.
I feel you. My mom worked there for 30 years. Products like on Apple and they keep chucking up
on my iTunes.
What's on your iTunes list? What kind of cool music are you listening to recently?
So much. I mean, my list is getting a little bit older, but I'm rediscovering some like cool Indian music. A lot of what's happening lately is I'll check something out on YouTube and I'll love it, or like TikTok even.
Just Shazam it.
And I'll move on to iTunes to have it forever. Mm-hmm. Video game music.
Oh, yeah. Very good. So how can the zombie community help you, or maybe what if you wanted to drop a website or something to plug?
Yeah, my name is Vinder. From I guess my website is gonna be sodhirao.com. It's still a work in progress.
Can you spell that for us?
SODHIRAO.com. Still a work in progress, but you can always find me as one of the teachers at AI Camp. I volunteer there. It took me $400. And frankly, call me more education around AI. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn. Or any other place that you can find me. I'm starting to learn about X a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, you and me both. While we have you here, being a teacher in the space, what are we going to see in the next 6 to 12 months? Maybe the proliferation of agents, or what's around the corner?
Yeah, I think agents obviously are like the big best buzzword. But people are going to begin to understand what that means. People are going to be a lot more involved in, if you're in the RAG space, a lot more different types of rewriting components that make their results even better. You're going to understand how much closer you are to search. And finally,
Can you break that down for retrieval automated generation? Is that right?
I think it's right. Yeah.
Can you explain what that looks like practically?
Yeah. So you ask ChatGPT something, but you have your own company or your own things that you care about that you have some documentation on, but the rest of the world doesn't know about, right? You can augment whatever your ChatGPT or your Llama model knows by giving it some information. And then you can further augment it by teaching it how to best utilize that information and deal with your type of data.
Got it. Wonderful. Well, really enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference here.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I'm a speaker, so come watch at 4:30-ish.
All right. See you. Bye.